Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode. Today we are talking about All American Murder, the 1991 release from Vinegar Syndrome right here. We have the Blu-ray copy of it. This one is one that I was tricked a little bit by. I saw the trailer and it had a cheesy ass 80s song playing and it looks way different than what the actual movie is like. So you'll have to see for yourself and, buy this or go watch it on Amazon or whatever. It is available on Amazon to rent. But we'll go through the movie, we'll go through the release here, and then we'll give it my review here. It's an interesting one. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. We're about 4 away, I think, at the recording of this video. If we get there after this and you're watching, make sure you subscribe anyway, because there'll be more stuff for heavy metal, movies, video games, collectibles, all that stuff. So we'll get to All American Murder from Vinegar Syndrome after the intro. Whatever, who gives a shit? I'm talking about video games. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Welcome back from the intro. Obviously today we are talking about All American Murder. We'll go through the packaging right now of it. It is a very slick packaged Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome, the boutique label, as you'll call it. We've got the cover art that they commissioned for this release. It looks very nice, very cheesy. We've got one of the kills in the movie. So yeah, if you go watch the trailer and then you see this on the back, it'll be a little bit jarring, to say the least. And then, being a nice release, we have a slipcover, and then we have a reversible cover here, and the inside art is just the slipcover art. So just in case you didn't get the slipcover, you get both of them still. As you can see, we've got a couple extras here. We've got it's newly scanned in 2K from the 35mm interpositive. You have a commentary track, an interview with lead actor Charlie Schlatter. You have an interview with cinematographer Jeffrey Schaff, which the cinematography in this film, we'll get to that in the review section, but oh boy, it is fantastic. Of reversible cover art and then subtitles. So not a huge amount in the way of extras. You do get 2 interviews and a commentary track here, and obviously the film looks beautiful in the 2K scan that they have. But outside of that, you're not really going to get anything out of this. There are some interesting tidbits from Charlie Schlatter on his interview about Christopher Walken and being on set with him. You gotta check those out. If you buy this, it's great. It's like 30 minutes for both of the interviews, and it's wonderful. Okie doke. So we got through the packaging. Let's get into a little bit of background. Obviously, being a direct-to-video movie here, there wasn't that much background information on it. It's not like this is some sort of groundbreaking thing, but it was released on December 1st, 1991. It was directed by Anson Williams. The writer was Barry Sandler, not related to Adam, I don't think. It stars Christopher Walken, Charlie Schlatter, Josie Bissett, Richard Kind, Joanna Cassidy, and Mitchell Anderson. The synopsis is a little weird. If you want to go check out the trailer, go check out the one that Vinegar Syndrome made for the release, because you get sort of I wouldn't say you get the best of the movie, because it sort of tricks you into thinking that it's like some sort of teenage sex comedy, when this is not that. It is a little bit humorous, but not for purposeful reasons. But it is what you would call an American horror giallo film, like the Italian giallo genre of horror. It is highly stylized. It has just some very strange choices in the movie, but we'll get to that in the review section. We got to get to the synopsis for the film. Charlie Schlatter plays Artie, who is an antisocial guy who has big expectations because his dad is a judge and is really successful in his life, and he's been basically going from college to college to college and just really messing up. He's antisocial, he doesn't like people, he likes playing with fire, he has a pet snake, he likes snakes a lot. He ends up in jail because his roommates lit his snake on fire, and for a bunch of other reasons, he ends up in jail, and he gets out, and for miraculous reasons, I guess, because his dad is a judge. I have no clue. It's not really explained very well, but you don't really need the explanation. He gets out, and his last chance is at Fairfield College. It was shot in Oklahoma. I can't remember what college it was in Oklahoma. If you went to Oklahoma and you see the college, let me know in the comments. There's not that much trivia on IMDb about this movie, so go figure. So when Artie gets to Fairfield College, it's immediate that he just like bangs the dean's wife. That's a weird scene, but he's banging the dean's wife. I don't know how that works. It's a little bit out of the Animal House there, I guess. A little nod, a little poke. But as he's going to class, it doesn't show him in class at all here, but he sees this beautiful, beautiful girl, Tally, who he is just obsessed with immediately. She's perfect in every way. She's in a sorority. She works with kids. She's really nice. She's got a bunch of friends. She befriends like this sort of weird girl and tries to get her in her sorority. But there's some stuff under the surface that you don't notice up until after the events of the film happen, or the plot of the film happens, pardon me. He basically stalks her around. It's a little weird here. I was watching this with some of my friends, and they were like, that dude's creepy. He's just stalking her around, like following her around, talking to her. She asks him, what do you want? And he says a child, which would scare the living crap out of anybody today. But I guess in 1991, and you go to Fairfield College, you can say weird stuff to people. I don't know. But it's a little creepy. He's pretty charming. Charlie Schlatter does a really good job in this role. He's with a heavyweight of film here in Christopher Walken. We'll get to Christopher Walken in a bit. But they go on a date. She, lets him take her on a date. They go on a date. It goes well. They go to Italian food or something. I don't know. And then she says, oh, come meet me tomorrow after cheerleading practice at the bell tower. I'll be studying, but I can get out and, we can fool around for a little bit in between studying. And so they meet up, but when he gets there, she gets lit on fire. So she's on fire, she falls and dies. And Artie, obviously the pyromaniac, is the main suspect. Everyone in the college comes running and sees him. He gets arrested, but before he gets arrested, we get to meet Christopher Walken's character, Decker, the police officer, in one of the most rewatchable introductions to a character. I know this is a small film, not a lot of people have seen it. You need to see this scene where they introduce Christopher Walken's character, because it's just absolutely fantastic, the way that his character is introduced and how he deals with the situation that he's put in as the cop, with a hostage situation. It's very reminiscent of sort of like Lethal Weapon or that kind of vibe. You have to see it to believe it. It's fantastic. It's Christopher Walken at his best. He really makes the movie. He's the heavyweight. He is the heavy in the movie. He's not in the movie for all of its runtime. This really is Artie's story, but Christopher Walken is the straw that stirs this movie's drink. Officer Decker does, in fact, believe that Artie did not do it. He questions him. They have sort of a heart-to-heart, a man-to-man, mano-a-mano, that kind of thing. And so he gives him, and he says, hey, you got 24 hours to figure out who did it. Otherwise, we do technically have enough evidence or stuff against you that we could put you away for this. So you got 24 hours, kid. And so as it goes on, the 24 hours, more and more people are murdered, and all of them trace back to Artie and basically where he is in the film. Somebody gets murdered around him, and it looks, all the signs point to him. It leads to a mystery and a reveal that's actually pretty damn good, and it leads me into the sort of more review portion of the movie. It is a mishmash movie. You go watch the trailer, and you see it doesn't look like the movie that it is when you buy it and pop it in your Blu-ray player, but on the other hand, it is a movie that is very entertaining. It is very fun to watch. I would call this one rewatchable. I'm not going to give it a letter grade or a number grade, but if you're going to tell me that I want to watch this movie again and just sort of analyze it, it's one of those movies. It's also a mystery, so you sort of will watch to see what the clues that they leave are. There's not that many clues that they actually leave, that the writer leaves, but it's also another movie that you can, show to your friends and your significant others or whatever, sort of watch them as they go through it and ask them, hey, who do you think it is right now? You think it's Artie? Do you think it's Decker? It is a movie that I bought solely based on the trailer. Vinegar Syndrome obviously was having their mid-year sale. I bought it because of that too. It was on sale. But I bought it because of the trailer. I really thought the trailer caught my attention because I love these kind of movies. I love those cheesy 80s songs in trailers a lot of the time. It's at the credits of this movie. And it really just goes into the absurd. It's a very absurd movie. Some of the scenes are just unintentionally hilarious. A lot of the dialogue there's a whole quote where Christopher Walken, Decker, is telling his colleagues, Richard Kind and another guy, about a story about how he knew a prostitute who had a sister who was a virgin that was into cops. And then the story just ends. And he finishes the story later with Artie, but at that point in the movie, the story just ends. The cops are like, oh, we gotta go, the chief's calling us. And you don't get to hear the rest of the story. It's very, very fun to watch. It's just fun to laugh with. It's one of those movies where if you take it part by part out and you go, what about this part? What about this part? What about the writing? What about the acting? What about the cinematography? The cinematography is great, though. It's sort of the parts that you take out are like, wow, this is kind of weird. The script is kind of eh. The acting is good for some people. For others, it's not so good. But when you put all those parts together and you put it into this package of the movie, it ends up being really fun and really watchable. It ends up being a great, great movie, a great horror movie, a great American Giallo film that combines with cinematography at times that is breathtaking. The shots that they get where some of them are off kilter and you can really get the disorientation of the characters and you can really get the mystery of the film going. The final thing I want to say is that the twist at the end legitimately shocked me the first time I watched it. It legitimately shocked my friends the second time I watched it, where I showed them so that I could get more out of it for this review. The whole plot that the killer goes through, it wouldn't pass the Forensic Files test at the end of the day. I've watched enough of that show to know it wouldn't pass. Somebody would figure it out. But it is a movie where the trailer sort of misadvertises it, but it's sort of a special bonus that you get if you watch the trailer and then watch the movie, because it's two completely different things. I highly recommend this one. I highly recommend it for fans of horror out there. I highly recommend it for fans of Christopher Walken. I highly recommend it for fans of just really good cinematography and just a fun movie. It's fun, it's rewatchable, and it gets my stamp of approval. You can catch the release of this from Vinegar Syndrome on their website. I'll put a link to it below in the description. But that'll do it for a review, I guess, of All American Murder. It's an absurd film that is better than the sum of its parts. And, you know, at the end of the day, if a movie's fun, if it's rewatchable, no matter how unintentionally hilarious it might be, no matter how many times somebody asks to get them the vodka, it's a good film, it's rewatchable, it's fun. Check it out. Well, that'll do it for me, to you, and Christopher Walken for now. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and do all that fun YouTube stuff. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this movie, if you're going to pick this movie up, if you want to pick this movie up, if you want to know more about the movie. But that's it for this video review of All American Murder. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.